said, back when I was younger, I used to be able to get my sing on. Come on, Lone Ranger. I said, it's Friday. We made it to the weekend. It's all good. Everything's shaking but the bone because my black butt is about to be at home. You know. Oh, man. It is a great day. And it rained like cats and dogs. Had a little storm in the DMV area, so the temperature has gone down. We're not baking like a freaking cake and whatnot. You know, we was baking like a cake earlier today. Man, where's this week? Where's this year going? You know, this is the last week of July coming up. It's crazy. You know, shout out to Los Angeles. Shout out to Atlanta. Shout out to New Orleans. And September will be my first time going to Nowland, so I'm looking forward to that. You know, a lot of bucket list places visiting this year. A lot of business deals getting done this year. That's what 2025 is for me right now. And the beautiful thing about 2025 as well, just leaving stupid people alone, you know, just leaving people alone that have nothing to do with your future, leaving people alone that ain't about getting things done. You just want to sit around and complain about basic things, who want to debate over basic things, you know, who are scared to take risk. I think that I'm really, you know, more disengage with people that are just not willing to take risks, you know. They want to be basic and simple, you know. Who want to just complain all the time, man. Who want to argue for the sake of arguing, who want to just, you know, just be miserable. Like I said, the old saying of get the gun and kill yourself, I said that to like 3 people today because all they was doing was complaining, you know. Complaining about their relationships, complaining about their kids, complaining about their job, complain. Like, I thought when I got in my 40s, I would hear less complaining from grown-ups, but man, I was sorely wrong. Woo! I was sorely wrong on that one. But that's why I just like, you know, I'm just going to make a positive video, talk about whatever I want to talk about. And it is what it is. You know, the summertime is almost over with. You know, like I said, last week of July, you got 1 more month. I mean, for a lot of people, they're starting school soon, you know. So, thing is, if you haven't done anything to someone that you wanted to do or brought some excitement into your life, or you learned something new, got a new skill set, vibe with some new people that are about doing things, then you wasted your summer, in my personal opinion. I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, if you had a medical issue and you had to have surgery thing, I'm not talking about people like that, people who have been hospitalized, because I've been seeing a lot more people being hospitalized, and that just makes me grateful to be in the life that I'm in right now, to not be hospitalized, you know. I have my moments, you know, because, you know, I get, you know, my age is showing a little bit, and I'm feeling it, you know, a little bit, but, you know, self-care is a real thing. I might go get in the jacuzzi this weekend, but anyways. But yeah, man, just, you know, being real with it, being positive with it, you know, those are the vibes I'm with, man. And, you know, doing business, investments, going on new adventures in this life, man, that's some sexy stuff to me. A lot of folks, they not about that life, they can't get with it, and it's just one of those things, you know. And like I said, it entertains the heck out of me, you know, at the end of the day. You know, on some realness. But I leave it at that, you know. It entertains the heck out of me, but, you know, it's one of those is what it is situations. You know. That joke, I had to really get that parallel park on. But yeah, man, that's just how I look at it at the end of the day. You know, but people are a trip. You know, people are a trip, and, you know, I just leave it at that. You know, But yeah, shout out to those people who are getting it in. Shout out to those who are showing love. Shout out to those who people that are just excited about being alive. Shout out to those who are not letting their age stop them from accomplishing things. Because that says a lot right there on some realness. Shout out to people that are continuously engaged. Shout out to people that that are just not, going in a complete fit rage and whatnot over the smallest things in life. Like I said, can I position this so I can let this, there we go. Yeah, shout out to everybody that's just getting it in, and let me know what you got in the comment section. Let me know what you got going on this weekend. And shout out to those that are just being real with people, that are just letting people know their specific intentions, whether it's relationships, friendships, business, things of that nature. Like I got a cold call, not a cold call, but I have a business call this weekend in regards to if I'm going to get back into the travel business with this specific travel company. It seems, the monthly fees, the price is right for the most part. So the monthly fee is pretty cool, but I need to do more research if I'm going to get back into doing this travel thing because, obviously I love to travel for business and pleasure, but I need to know if I'm going to be able to, if I'm actually going to be able to, is this going to be feasible for me? Can I utilize this to book my vacation trips and get, discounts? Will I be able to, book this and, utilize this? And cause I know with the whole affiliate marketing thing, especially nowadays, a lot of people aren't too big on, affiliate marketing. And, obviously, this, and you're people that are strangers are the ones that will take your life to the next level. That's usually how it goes in a job or a career, and that's definitely how it goes in a business and whatnot. Because unfortunately, most people, the ambitious people, they have the hardest time clicking with other ambitious people. You know what I mean? Or finding other ambitious people. And this is why I love going to InvestFest. Like I feel like as my mother would say, and my uncle would say, I found my tribe, my own fraternity of business-minded and investor-minded people, a fraternity of people who are adventurous about life. Like, the saddest thing I always say, being around people who lack a sense of adventure and lack a sense of fun and just lack a sense of individuality. They always want to follow the crowd. They always want to be around the same old people. And I've always been the exact opposite. Case in point, and I was thinking about this today because we was having a conversation about Los Angeles, and I remember when I was a teenager, how I was so, because if you don't know, I grew up in the DMV area, Woodbridge, Virginia, 40 minutes south of Washington, D.C. Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. are connected via the Potomac River. Anyways, my case in point is that I remember always being infatuated with New York City and Los Angeles growing up, because specifically during that time in hip hop, those are the cities to be. And then of course, later on, Houston, New Orleans, and Atlanta were popping. And then by the time I got out of high school, that's when Jackson, Mississippi was popping because of David Banner. Miami, the South was making moves. But anyways, and so I remembered, I would dress like I was, cause when I was 16, 17, I wanted to be Snoop Dogg. All right. I had the cornrows, I wasn't Mr. Baldy back then, had cornrows, and I, wore khakis, and I wasn't throwing up gang signs or whatnot, cause I'm not that stupid. I wasn't, even as a young person, I was like, yeah, I'm not a gang member. Not a street dude, and I'm happy about that. But I was, living in the DMV area. I was dressing outside of the norm of everybody else. I was getting t-shirts made with Snoop Dogg on it, Old Dirty Bastard on it, rest in peace, Old Dirty Bastard. Method Man, who else? Mac 10. Nobody was wearing a Mac 10 t-shirt back in high school when I was in high school. And the case in point is, I always liked being different and thinking and looking and being outside of the box. Even in my adolescence, even though sometimes I hated it, I liked it. It was like the gift and the curse, because I liked it, but then I never connected with a lot of people like that because I was always the odd one out of the box. But then I learned to just be like, I don't care anymore. I learned growing up, whatever, if it doesn't pay my bills, then it doesn't make any deals. You know what I mean? But case in point, at the end of the day, What my point is that I just remember that, and um, I remember people, me not really connecting with people like that, not ever wanting to, and even whenever I tried to fit in the box of most people, it just never clicked and connected and whatnot. So that's why I would say shout out to EY University, because it's nice to connect with people that ain't worried about what you're wearing. They're worried about what you're about. You know what I'm saying? They're worried about what your lifestyle is about, what your business is about, what your investment's about. What is your, you came down here for a reason. Because every time I go, most of the people that are InvestFest, they live in the surrounding area of Atlanta, Georgia, or they might be like Alabama, South Carolina, Florida, which, places that are much closer that where people can drive, to and whatnot. So, cause I didn't think that people were going to be surprised when I was like, yeah, I'm from the DMV, DC area. Everybody's like, Dad, you came down there from DC? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, shoot, this is my thing. This is what I'm about. I was like, I'm not missing nothing in the DMV but basic born, energy. You know what I'm saying? And then once again, case in point, like every majority of people that I've grown up with that are still in the DMV area, they are about taking road trips. I'm like, for me, it ain't a real trip if I am not getting on the airplane and getting off the East Coast. But that's just me. Okay. Because why? Because I grew up on the East Coast. So going to, West Virginia, Maryland, and North Carolina doesn't sound, Pennsylvania doesn't sound sexy to me, as they say. It doesn't, unless it's like business related, and that's another story. But for fun, I'm just like, nah, I'm straight. I'd rather be in the house, because I talked about it yesterday. It was a post that said, I'd rather book trips every month than go out every weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like going out in the DMV area, dead and gone, dead, stink and gone. And a lot of people I know, that's what they want to do, and that's cool. But once again, individuality, being different and being cool with being different. That's what it's all about, in my personal opinion. But a lot of people don't, they're scared to be like that because they don't know how to think outside the box. If they do, they don't want to, and it just scares the living crap out of them. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, be who you are. This is the end of the rant, because I got stuff to do. Be who you are, be proud of who you are, stand on who you are, and make your moves. Stop waiting on people, and start living life. I can't stress that enough. Is just stop waiting on people and start living life, because I always say if I would have waited on people, I never would have took the trip to LA. I would never would have went to Toronto. I booked the trip to London, and I'm not bragging on it. I'm just saying it's like, I always go back to one of my favorite, and I need to listen to this, TED Talk, where the quarter life crisis, this guy named Smiley, who used to live in this area, the DMV area, and he ended up moving to San Francisco, living a life that was more meaningful for him. And he always says, he says it all the time. He says, take the trip, book the trip, take the class, start the business, whatever you're trying to do different in this life, do it, because you run out of time when you stop moving. You run out of time when you breathe your last breath. So I look at it like that. So stop wasting time trying to live somebody else's life. Steve Jobs said that all the time. It's your life, and you can't be, rest in peace to Steve Jobs. He said, it's your life, and you can't be wasting time trying to live somebody else's life. And I learned that a long time ago. And the moment I learned that, the moment my life got better. The moment I was not looking to be accepted, the moment I stopped caring what anybody else thought, my life got better. So I got to hydrate. Just had a nice workout. Shout out to my gym bros and the gym women out there. The workout was legit, and it was on the money. But yeah, it's just like, stop wasting time. And another thing is, stop begging people to be in your life too. That's another thing. A lot of times people they get lonely, and they get, and this can be man or women, and then they reach out to people that they know that's toxic for them. They reach out with the people that they know that they're not going to do any good for them, and vice versa. But it's just because they want to have that connection and whatnot. And it's just like, hey, be like me and get a dog. I don't really need people like that. I love dogs more than people, and I stand on that. So got my dog Max, and he's a senior dog, but he's still my dog, and that's all that matters. And that's my dog. That's my dog. But anyways, have a good weekend. I'm ready to get something to eat, take a shower, stomp my feet, and make another video. Don't forget to Don't forget to subscribe to Larry's Anything Goes. Don't forget to LLC on YouTube and Facebook, specifically YouTube, please. Don't forget to subscribe to Patterson Properties on YouTube or Facebook, but specifically YouTube and any other social media platforms. Look up at Larry's Anything Goes. So on that note, family, do the great 3 things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves on your liberal, like for the same Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. I'm out. And have a great weekend. Like I said, let me know in the comment section what you got going on this weekend. Me, it's going to be business, but a lot of relaxation at the same time. Take care.